In this episode of Perfect Organism, our contributor and head admin of Building Better Worlds, Conar Murdoch, sits down with Stevie J Douglas, the director of Alien 3, the Unfilmed Script, which premiered in Glasgow, Scotland at Webster's Theatre, October 3rd through the 5th of 2019. This is a delightful conversation covering the Alien series, the production itself, and how it all began. This interview was recorded before the show premiered. Please keep that in mind as you listen. We hope you enjoy.
Hi Stevie, thanks for joining us. Glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
I first heard about this on our Building Better Worlds Facebook group when you just posted this up, and it's quite unique actually having something up here in Scotland, because it's usually either England or the States where all the alien stuff's happening. So before we get into discussing the stage play, do you want to tell us how you got introduced to the franchise?
Right, I've been an Alien fan since I was about 13, 14. I was brought up in Northern Ireland, which is probably not really anything to do with it, but it came on TV one night. I still remember the date. It was the 11th of July 1983, and we were sitting sort of watching it. In fact, it's coming up with the anniversary of it, and I think about it. And it came on TV one night, and I sat and watched it with my mum, and the movie just sort of stuck with me. You know, I grew up with it, and whenever it was on whenever it was on telly or whatever, I would sit and watch it. And even to this day, like, I'm 48 now, and it still sort of terrifies me, and I still see different things in it all the time. And I sort of got into the sort of stories and all the sort of stuff that all came about it and grew up. I'm a big horror fan, so I sort of grew up with the film. And then when obviously Aliens came out, and then Aliens came out a few years later, and then we got Alien 3 in 92. Now, Alien 3, as you probably know, it sort of splits the fans down the middle and how they feel about it. And as we probably know, it's a lesson in how not to make a movie.
Yeah.
You know. And then we had Resurrection, and then we had the AVP stuff, and Prometheus, and and Covenant, and all that sort of stuff. And I've always, even those sort of weaker franchises, the weaker entries into the franchise, I've always enjoyed them for what they are. Like the AVP ones, okay, they're utter mince, but I find the first one just good knockabout fun. If you take it for what it is, it's just sheer 90 minutes of popcorn.
Yeah,
and that sort of thing. And then you remember Alien War? Alien War in Glasgow.
Yeah, because I remember there was the original one down south in England, and it got moved up to Glasgow. Was it?
No, it was actually the other way around. It started in Glasgow.
Did it?
Yeah, the first one. It was started by two Scotsmen, Gary Gillis and John Gorman, and they were sitting watching Aliens in the cinema one night, and one of them had the idea, said we should bring that to life, and they did, and that's a whole other sort of story. But I ended up actually being a Marine in the last run of it.
Oh.
And that was one. I dabble in acting. I run a company called Scare Scotland, and we do sort of interactive horror stuff. And basically, we build mazes, and hunters go into them, and we chase them around. And I've sort of worked in them on and off for 15 years. See, my proud moment was being one of the Marines in the last run of Alien War. But I helped out behind the scenes in some of the early ones. So that was me getting literally hands-on with the franchise. And I got to be the big bad Marine. Corporal Steele was my character's name. And I got to run around with a pulse rifle and shoot aliens, A lot of folk would like to do that. But through the years, I watch it when it's on TV. I'm looking over there just now. There's various different versions of the movies, box sets, and you know how it is.
Yeah, trust me, I know how it is.
Yeah, and then buying the memorabilia, the models, the masks, and in fact, I'll just show you. You look over there, you'll see, there's a big alien head over there somewhere.
Nice.
I've got the posters up on the wall. My missus goes crazy with it, but she's like, "You better not put that up there."
I'm relegated to one room. I can't put anything in the rest of the house.
Well, she's quite sort of good that way. She'll go, you know, there's just over there. There's one of the Alien Covenant posters, and I insisted that I had to go up. You know, and,
Is that the mural one?
yes.
Yeah, I've got one up there. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's a cracking it's a cracking mural, like, you know. But yeah, so I've collected various things from it over the years, you know, and I try and pick up some rarities and, you know, just try and find the sort of things that may be out of the ordinary that from the franchise that you can buy. And I probably watch them at least once, twice a month. I'll pull out a box set and I'll stick an Alien movie on. It seems it's my go-to thing, you know.
Yeah. It's very much a case of, like, we don't have anything to watch. I'll just stick one of the Alien films in. It's always something you can watch.
Yeah. But I've always been fascinated, you know, I was getting a bit older when Alien 3 came out. You know, that sort of it was becoming more adult orientated then. And that movie always stuck with me. Alien 3, them all, I mean, it's just, see, I like them all, but Alien 3, always something about it with me. And then all the stories started coming out about how it was made and, you know, the various unmitigated disaster that it was. And considering the mess of a movie that was going on behind the scenes, I'm surprised he even got one out.
Yeah.
You know, it was, and what we got in the cinema from Fincher, although it wasn't his full vision, there's a great movie in there dying to get out.
I completely agree. I never knew about the behind the scenes stuff with the making of it until I think I joined the podcast, because I liked the movie first off, and then I read into it and I was like, Jesus, this is insane, the amount of stuff they went through, the amount of writers and scripts.
Yeah. Well, I actually met one of the actors from it, Carl Chase. I met him at a Comic Con, and no one really knew who he was. It was a bit of a shame for him, because he was sitting at this Comic Con and they invited him along to sort of sign autographs and stuff like that. And most people knew him. He'd been in one of the Batman movies, and I can't remember what one. But most folk knew him from that. But I knew, and he was wearing his Alien 3 coat. And he's sort of sitting there and he's sort of looking a bit lonely, you know. And I went up to him and I started speaking to him and got into him about the sort of nitty gritty of about Alien 3 and what his experiences on it were. And I said, did you? And I asked him a question. I went, did you see any of the sort of arguments and the screaming that was going on? And he said he actually saw very little of it. And he was on it for almost 3 months. And he said, but to him it was quite a positive experience. And when they did the reshoots for the ending, he was flown to Hollywood, and him and the rest of the cast sat in a 5-star hotel for 6 weeks, not doing anything with their feet up, until 20th Century Fox decided what they were going to do with the film.
Jesus.
But to him, he said it was a positive experience for him. He didn't see any of the nonsense that went on, not much of it anyway. But he's quite a minor character in it anyway. But he said he saw David Fincher sort of shouting a few times, but nothing he'd never seen any director do before, you know. But it was quite an insight, sort of hearing from the horse's mouth and how the actual movie was made. And it was after that when it was Empire magazine, I think, sort of released some of the concept art from the Vincent Ward script that was made, because that was probably, out of the other scripts that were written, that was probably the one that got closest to being made. And because Vincent Ward was on it for a year, and then he sort of washed his hands of it. But the concept art was made, and I saw this concept art, and it just looked fascinating, you know. And then I heard the script was doing the rounds on the internet, and I sort of went, okay, well, where is this script? And I sort of did some Google searches, and I found it. And I found a version of it, and I read it, and I just thought, this is. I can't make my mind up if it's a toss up between genius and insanity.
Yeah, that's usually the best ones, though. It's the most interesting.
And it looked like he was taking the franchise into this. He was taking it somewhere it hadn't been before. You know, with the first Alien movie, as you know, we've got, you know, it's about claustrophobia. It's about sort of, you know, all the sort of nastiness and exploring yourself, and, you know, male rape and all, you know, all the sort of things it explores, and the sexuality and all that sort of stuff. And we've got Aliens, which is an all-out action movie with a bit of depth in it, which is a rarity.
Nowadays,
You know?
anyway.
Yeah. And then you've got this Alien 3 script set on this wooden planet with monks, and I'm like, what was he thinking? You know, but as I was reading it, I realised it was more than that. You know, and when the character Ripley isn't what's the best way I could, without sounding arty-farty, it sounded like it was the alien was after our soul.
Yeah, it's amazing actually how many sort of themes went from the Vincent Ward script to what we got in the final product.
Yeah. And it was interesting seeing how they rewrote some of the characters into sort of like Dylan and, you know, and 85 and all that sort of stuff, and how they developed from what was on the Vincent Ward script into what we got, because they were writing Alien 3 as they went along.
Yeah.
Consider there was 4 or 5 scripts sitting, and they've got sets sitting built, and then they decide, we'll just make this up as we go along. And you're like, what? When you've got this sort of script sitting there, serviceable, you probably needed a bit of editing here and there, but it would have worked as a movie, I think. But it would have took the franchise into wild directions, you know, even more, you know, we see in Prometheus where it explores sort of spirituality and God and all that stuff. Vincent Ward was doing that before Prometheus.
Yeah. I can't remember what script it was, but there was one of them where they had the aliens essentially join up into a single form, like some sort of transformer, and I was just reading it thinking, oh God, thank God. Thank absolute God for what we got.
That was a bit insane, that one. I can't remember who wrote that one, but some of them were just like, they were just churned out, you know, because Fox, I believe, had already committed the money to make Alien 3, so they had to get something out, and I think it was delayed by a year.
It was
was it all the sort of politicking that was going on?
I can't remember the exact dates, but I do remember that before anything was even filmed, do you not remember they released that trailer where it was like, on Earth, everyone will hear you scream?
Yeah, and it was a chicken egg that was.
And that was before they even had a script.
I've done quite a lot of research into Alien 3 and sort of stuff, you know, and stuff that maybe not so much as good doing the rounds on the internet and whatever, and realising, going, what were you doing? You know, there was sets built they didn't use, and you're like, you know, and this, you know, making a movie is hard. I dabble in the movie industry and TV industry, and it's a hard job. You know, and anyone who gets a movie out, no matter how good, bad, or indifferent, you know, when you get it out there, that's the hardest bit. And they got this thing out there, and it's like, how did you do that, considering everything that happened? You know, but they got David Fincher just because he was a young director and he was a guy they could control. That's what they thought, you know.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest sin of Alien 3 is the fact that he'll never come back to it.
It's sad. You know, and we have seen interviews with him, and I've actually heard on the sort of grapevine that when he's promoting another movie, you know, when he did Seven and Fight Club and various other things that he's done, that when he's interviewing about them, you've not to ask him about Alien 3. It's in his brief. It's not to be mentioned, and he calls it that film.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, that's how it nearly destroyed him as a director, you know, and he'd done loads of music videos, and, you know, and you see his body of work now and you see what could have been. But we have the longer cut now on the box set, you know, and everywhere. A pet hate of mine is when folk call it a director's cut.
It's not. No. Do you have a preferred version between the original and the assembly?
Yes. I've got I like the assembly version. It's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it ties up a lot of the sort of characters that just, like the Golic character in the theatrical version just disappears.
Yeah, that was was just stupid how they
You
did
know,
that.
and wasting an actor like Charles Dance, an actor of that quality, and and you don't get. I don't think they got the best out of him, and they could have killed that character off later on, or they could have went more on an adventure with Ripley, but hey, and then obviously killing off Hicks and Newt at the very start, there's all that, and
That's everybody's biggest bugbear, but I wasn't bothered by it whatsoever.
I can see why he did it. I was shocked by it when I went to see it in the cinema. I was like, "You are kidding!" After everything he went through, But I can see why. I can see why it happened, and why he wanted it, because he wanted to punch you in the face from the start, and everybody was emotionally attached to that sort of family unit that was created in Aliens, and it was taken away from us in Alien 3, and everybody was like, oh God, and whatever you think of it, it's there. And I remember they were talking about this retcon thing and all that with Neil Blomkamp.
Oh, Neil Blomkamp, that's still hotly debated amongst the team at Perfect Organism.
Hi, but do you know? No matter what you think of Alien 3, and it's there. It's part of the. It's part of the. It's part of the story. It's part of the. It's part of it. No matter what you think of it, it's part of everything that happened. You can't just, we don't like that anymore, let's go and make another one.
Yeah, that really annoys me because, in my opinion, the three of them combined are a perfect single story. There's no need to bring Ripley back. What would you explore if you did bring her back? I mean,
I think Resurrection sorted that one out. We're going where it is what it is, that movie, but they don't need Ripley anymore.
No.
They should. The character died at the end of Alien 3, as far as I'm concerned, And all right, Resurrection is not strictly Ripley in a sense, but still, I think she just done it for the money.
Well, you can't blame her. Why not?
Of course. I mean, it's cool that she wants to return. She seems she's talking about it again, and maybe resurrecting Ripley again. But I don't see a call for it.
No.
I think our story finished at the end of Alien 3. But that's where my love of the franchise comes from. That's a big sort of long-winded way of sort of saying it. But, and I mean, I've got an alien tattoo on my arm. I've got a wheeling Yutani on my arm, and various other things. And I like to shoot, and I'm actually very proud to be an Alien fan. Because people see it in my arm. My missus looking at me, and I'm quite happy to sit and talk about it for hours on end and bore the backside off of folk about it.
Yeah, it is a very niche fandom though, because a lot of us have to go and say like online. It's like very rarely you'll find someone locally that Like I've got a good friend of mine we grew up watching the films together, but apart from that, I don't know anybody in my social circles in real life that's a big fan of them apart from my wife. And that was lucky. I think I pretty much indoctrinated her into that.
I think I'm the same with my missus. What? You're used to it now. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends will watch them. I'll put it on and they'll sit and watch them, but they don't. They enjoy them, but they don't sort of go. But where my outlet is the Scare Scotland thing.
Yeah, tell us about that, because I'm really wanting to hear about this.
Well, Scare Scotland is a company. I mean, we started about 7 years ago, and it came from the sort of scare industry, which I was sort of working in, doing Alien War and various other sort of shows. And it's like you said earlier, there was a lot of sort of companies were bringing these things to Scotland, and they were coming from abroad, England and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, we're more than capable to do this ourselves. So the Scare Scotland thing is to sort of bring folk who want to work in the horror industry together. We do a lot of zombie stuff, right? We've done we've done TVs, we've done movies, music videos, various other things. And we have a lot of fun with it. And so whenever there's sort of it's creature acting. So whenever a sort of TV show or a movie needs someone who can move in a certain way or whatever, they'll give me a call and say, can you get somebody who can do a xenomorph? Can you get somebody who can do a Michael Myers type thing? You know, yeah, we can do that. And I've got a sort of group of folk who we can sort of lay out. And yeah, well, that's a quick idea of what we sort of do. We don't generally put our own shows together, but we'll sort of help folk out. But I saw it as an outlet to try something on my own and create something on my own. And there was a group in Ireland did a read through of Alien 3, but they did the film version. And I sort of emailed them, and I was like having a chat with one of the guys from that. I mean, well, how did you go about it and stuff? And they said, well, we just sat around a table and we recorded it. Nah, okay, I like the idea, but no, everybody's seen the movie. Let's do something different. So the old script that I'd read, the Vincent Ward one, popped back into my head. And yeah, okay, I had to read through it. And it started off as a bit of a laugh. Right?
As all projects do.
As all projects do. I got a few of my Scare Scotland guys. I says, right, okay, let's just do this for a bit of fun and see where it goes. And it started off sort of, again, 7 folk sitting around a table. And we just started reading the script and having a bit of fun with it. And then I just started just putting a bit of sort of little bits of stage direction in it. So, well, why don't you stand there and walk across here where you're saying that? And then we've got a guy called Alec who, see, Alec, can you be the alien? Alec's tall, you know, Alec's like 6'8", you know. Alec, can you pretend you're an alien and just grab him but then drag him away and kind of pretend you're ripping his throat out and stuff? And Alec's like, you know, and he's like, yeah, no problem. And we met up for a few weeks doing this, and we realised we had a stage show in our hands. And we were like, okay, we're doing it for ourselves, but can we perform it? Can we actually do this in front of folk? So a year or so ago, we did it in a small venue in Glasgow. And just a back room in a pub, and it was just a sort of spare empty area they had. They let us use it, and we let some friends know. We sold some tickets. It was only an audience of 40.
That's still a sizable audience for a first go.
Yeah, but we used it to learn a lot from it, and they really enjoyed it. You know, so we did it. We did it for over 2 nights, and we sold it out both nights. And we actually had 3 shows. We did 2 on the Sunday, 1 on the Saturday, and we sold it out. And then so I was speaking to some of the audience afterwards, and they were like, "What did you think?" And they're going, "Oh yeah, we really wanted to see this. There was a sort of geeky type audience that came anyway, and they were sort of taken aback at how good the story was, even the sort of ludicrous parts that are, you know, there's one point in it where they find a sheep. Right, I'll give you one of the scenes here. They find a sheep in a barn. And the sheep turns round and its backside is a human face.
Oh, I remember the concept art for that.
Yeah, as you can imagine, we had fun doing the props for that. You know, yeah. Well, you've got to watch some of the pictures of this thing. You know, you've seen the concept art. What's running through this guy's head? So some of the challenges was it was getting what he envisioned onto a stage, and the other challenge was it's a film script, not a theatre script.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of, you know, and it's sort of written with sort of scenes in mind rather than being on a stage. So we were working around that. So we actually created a character, our own character, who the person who, when you're reading the movie script, the action's written out. So we turned that into a sort of a narrator type thing, who would keep the story flowing, and so that really, really worked. But the problem we had was the script was 2.5 hours long.
Jesus,
it's a long script, yeah. And so when we were, one of the things that's the feedback I got, Stevie, the people in the audience, Stevie, my arse was numb. So where we are with it now, we've had to edit it a fair bit. We've got it down to about just over 90 minutes. The biggest challenge was getting a 2.5 hour script down to an acceptable length where folk aren't sitting for hours going, you know. In a movie you can do that. So we had to get it down. We've got it down to under 90 minutes, 94 minutes I think we timed that at, and cutting with bits out without compromising too much. Because you've got to respect the work that's in front of you. And so I think the version that we have is workable. And it keeps it moving along at a good pace, because this script is very slow moving, and it's very talky, and it's, you know, and so we cut out quite a lot of the sort of exposition, and then it was quite a lot of argument of what we considered a major scene and what we didn't. But yeah, I think we've agreed it, and I think what we've got will work better than what we did before. When we did it in the smaller sort of the venue that we did it in Glasgow, we had a really good cast, and then one of the girls who's around runs her own theatre company called Shows in a Shoestring, and she spoke to me and thought the show had legs, and we should do something with it. So I arranged to meet her, and she said, I'll produce it, you direct it. I thought I was going to be replaced, to be honest. And she got us Webster's Theatre in Glasgow, which I think holds about 180 people, and we've been working on it since, and she's been doing all the sort of producery things, whatever producers do.
I actually have always wondered that myself. As like, do they just have money? What exactly do they do?
Yeah, no, she's a hard taskmaster, believe me. But one of the things the problems we have with it again, as well as funding it. You know, we're fortunate we've got a decent theatre, but last time we just covered the actors' expenses, but this time we're sort of paying them properly, and you know, we're making it a full professional production. So we're currently we're fundraising for it, and we've actually got a fundraising night tomorrow night in Glasgow and stuff, and just to sort of make sure everybody, all the crew and staff are all sort of looked after, and the actors and whatever, because I think we're asking a lot of them, and they are professional actors at the end of the day, and professional theatre crew, so they deserve to be paid, and it's the least we could do for letting them working for me, in a sense. We're bringing my sort of passion and vision to life, you know. But we want the thing to be challenging to folk as well, and let people see that Alien isn't just about getting chased around by a big monster. Because
that's a misconception I've always hated.
Yeah, you know, it's not a monster movie, you know, although we know it started off that way, but once sort of various things come into play. But this one explores, this version of Alien 3 just explores the human psyche, you know, and even when they meet the android in it and stuff, and you know, and even the android is different, and you know, we had Ash and Bishop and Cole and all that, but this one's called Anthony, and it's totally different, and there's although they sort of touched on the Bishop thing, wanting to be human and all that sort of thing, the Anthony character in this is isolated away for years, because the monks on this planet have basically shut down anything with machinery or electronics or whatever. They've pushed all that away out of their lives, and he's been locked away. But when Ripley eventually encounters him, it turns out he's been locked away, and he's actually started to go insane. And he starts during the thing exploring his humanity, and it makes Ripley explore hers and what the agenda of the alien actually is. So, and she starts exploring spirituality, and so do the other characters as well. You know, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing, the direction it went in. And I felt it deserves to be seen in some form. There's no way we'll ever get the millions of pounds to film it. So
I couldn't even imagine building that wooden planet set, honestly.
Aye.
I must be. I'm sitting here imagining. I was thinking before we started the call. I was like, wooden planet. That'd be quite. I wouldn't say simple, but less complicated to do a set for. And then I'm like, wait, I've looked at the designs. No, it's very, very complicated.
Yes. Well, how we're going to do it is obviously we can't, due to budget constraints and and various. We're going to suggest a lot of the thing by light. We'll have little bits of sort of that going in and say it's to show this planet is made of wood, but we're going to be it'll all be done by colours. There's a bit in it where they spend a lot of time in a library and the books are all chained up and all that sort of stuff, and so a lot of the action happens in there, and then there's a courtroom thing. There's a huge kangaroo court sort of scene. Sort of happens where they sort of doom Ripley to hell in a sense, and because that's what's I'm sorry, going all different directions here, but
don't worry about it, man. Honestly,
it's even sort of exploring that as well as sort of heaven and hell thing, down in this sort of the bottom of this planet is like the prison, and it's dark and there's nothing down there, just pitch black, and Ripley gets put down there, and then you've got the bit up above where there's fields and there's fields and there's corn and it's all everybody's all happy, but it's a pretense happy. It's an illusion. I don't want to give the twist away. That's because there's a big twist in the film actually, in the script, but there's the Wheel and Yutani in a sense have created an illusion of a sort, and it's about exploring that as well, of what you see isn't what you always get. And it's about people you having to change as a person to survive and get through your life. And it's about and it explores loyalty as well. There's a character who's a young monk in it, and he sort of falls in love with Ripley, and it's against everything he should, and and he's a doctor in it, so you can see where that was rewritten into
Clemens, yeah,
and obviously the scene in the movie where the two make love and whatever, he can't do that in this, but he's looking at her with sort of loving eyes, and as the sort of script goes on, and then he's got to make a choice in it. I'll not tell you what that choice is, but it comes to a point where he has to make a choice of where his loyalties lie. And that choice is quite sort of devastating for himself and a couple of the other sort of major characters in the script. But it explores a lot of things that the previous movies didn't touch on. And for me that was I just wish they could have made it.
I have to admit, I haven't read the Vincent Ward script for a good couple of years. Right now, listening to you, I'm thinking I should go back and read this. And I'm like, no, wait to see it. Wait to see it.
Well, we'd love to have you there. We'd love you and your podcast folk to come. You'll be of course.
I think it'll probably only be me unless we can somehow kidnap Jamie and Patrick from across the pond.
All right, well, fair enough.
I'm the only Scotsman here. That's why I was really looking forward to this episode, because the podcast has been taken over by Scotland.
Yay!
Freedom! Sorry.
But we're hopefully going to video it, so we'll maybe stick it on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, because it's very interesting the fact that you guys have started this, and we also had the North Bergen High School play for Alien Day.
Yeah, that was. See when I was pleased for them and pissed off at the same time.
They stole the thunder.
And then I saw the videos appear on YouTube, and then they got bloody Sigourney Weaver to support them, and it was, But I'm actually I'm working on maybe trying to get one of the Alien 3 actors to come up.
Ooh, any chance you're going to tell us who it is?
I can't. I really can't, because there's two have asked. 85.
Yes. Fuck yes.
And he's very non-committal, and there's another he's one of the sort of lesser known guys in it, but I've sort of sent a few emails around and see what we can do. It would just be even if he comes up on the first night or something, you know.
Yeah, just to make an appearance, it'd be.
Yeah,
really
if he just comes up and says hello, or even sends us a video or something, you know, good luck with it. Because there ain't no way we're getting Sigourney Weaver.
We could kidnap her.
Have you seen the size of her? She's 6'3".
You have a 6'8" friend. We'll manage.
No, we're right enough. Well, that was some of the things we've come across as well. You know, we've had to make our own Xeno costume.
Yeah, I've really been wanting to ask you about that.
Well, I came across. You've got to be very careful with using stuff because basically because of copyright.
Yeah.
And the Giger estate wouldn't be too pleased. So we actually got some of the old Alien warheads, Alien heads, and we've sort of redesigned them a little bit because we don't want them coming and sending us any lawyers' letters or anything. Because they are very protective of the franchise, as you would imagine, because they make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah. Just in royalties alone for figures and comics and whatnot.
No, we're very lucky that this script is in public domain, and we've also given Vincent Ward his place, you know, because we emailed him through his website and stuff, and we worked with a group from, I don't know if you know, but Vincent Ward's from New Zealand, and we worked on a show in the Edinburgh Festival a couple of years ago, and there was and that was a group from New Zealand, and there was somebody on there that knows him a little bit, so he's given them the news that we're doing this, and I emailed his site, and he basically responded with one word: yes.
Cryptic.
Yes, aye, because my understanding is that he's more or less washed his hands of the whole thing, even though he puts it on his website where if you want to go and have a look at the script, but the concept art is there, but it is what it is. We're going to do it anyway.
I could see where they're coming from, maybe not to David Fincher's extreme but if you put your heart and soul into conceiving this and for some reason one or another it doesn't go through, you do sort of want to forget it. I can see where maybe they're coming from that. Yeah.
Well, you know, Vincent Ward and these other writers, it took them 6 months to write that script, you know, and then they worked they were in pre-production for then a year.
A full year, God.
Oh, and then they see what's going on. I think he saw the writing on the wall, to be honest, and I think he thought he was dodging a bullet, you know. But I suppose he more or less did, in a sense. We'll see. But hey, he's not told us not to do it. So
you've got a cryptic yes, so that's proclamation enough.
When I told the producer Effie, she went, "You still got that email?" I was like,
saved behind a password lock. No one touches it.
But we're going to have a lot of fun with it one way or another.
Has it been somewhat stressful just to bring all this together?
It's been the stressful bit will start in the next few weeks, but when we start the sort of major rehearsals for it, because I had to change some of the cast around a little bit, because when we did it the first time, we let the cast come on to the stage with their scripts. So even though they were dressed as monks and all that sort of stuff, they were coming on with their sort of scripts in their hands. And but this time they've got to be off book, if you want the technical term. So they're coming on and they're going to be. And I just feel it'll bring the best out in the characters and the best out in the actors who are doing it. And the girl we've got playing Ripley is a girl called Ruth Brandon. And she, you know, 10 out of 10 for her for taking on a character like, you know, Ripley. You know, there's a lot of actors who you ask, right, you're playing Ripley from Aliens and they run a mile. You know, got no way, because it is such an iconic character, and she's brought something to it as well. She's what's the best way? She's put her own stamp on it.
Interesting.
She's put her own stamp on it, but she's remained faithful to the character as well. You know, and I wouldn't want her to go out onto that stage and do a carbon copy of Sigourney Weaver doing it. You know, it'd be nice, but no. And I encouraged her during the initial rehearsals. Say, look, I want you to put a bit of yourself into this. What do you think the character is like? Because she actually hadn't seen an Alien movie, and I suggested, well, go and watch one and look at the character, and then maybe watch the second one and see how Sigourney Weaver developed the character. You know, and cherry pick what you want, and you know, and then I wanted to see 40% of it's a copy, the rest of it is our own, and I've got to admit it blew me away. You know, and just watching her, and especially in this script, was a lot of emotional turmoil Ripley goes through. You know, and again, spoilers here, but during this script, Ripley is basically starving to death. There's a point in she discovers that if she eats, she's also feeding the alien inside her, and obviously that's a danger to what is going on. Plus, she's being pursued by an alien, and there's quite a lot of trauma for probably more so than what that character has been through already. You know, and she's got to keep moving, and she's dying as she goes through the script. It's through the sort of story. You know, and it's through that she starts discovering her own spirituality. You know, and all about her own life, and you know, and the challenges that she's faced and facing up to it once and for all. You know, and this one, where does it lead to? You know, where does her destiny lie? You know, and the end of the movie, when she falls into the lead, you know, the ending of this one is even more. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is even more traumatic. And again, is there sacrifice involved? You know, what is the alien agenda? Because these monks see it as a devil. You know, again, that carried over into the movie.
That's what I've always referred to it as some sort of devil.
Yeah, they see it as their retribution. You know, for being highly religious, and this is the devil coming to do what he's going to do to them.
That's probably the one aspect I really wish they would put into the movies, is a sort of religious cult aspect.
Yeah. They didn't explore it very well in the movie. You know, there's elements of it remain, but it wasn't pushed to the sort of element it could have been, because it goes quite extreme in this sort of version, where it gets really extreme, where you know it does cover the sort of cult thing, and how, you know, if you compare it to something like Scientology or something like that, and you know, where that's the only way. You know, this is the way it must be done, and you know, in various other cults is about sort of forcing you down a road you may not want to be comfortable with, but you have to do it. And there's a lot of that goes on. You know, and then you've got the leader of the monks, who is very inflexible. You know, he comes across as a very nice man at the start, but then you see, as the sort of story goes on, that he's actually more controlling than what the other monks think. You know, and he's pushing another agenda, which again comes out later on. And then there's the subject of retribution for all the decisions that these characters have made. You know, and then you've got this alien in the middle of it, which gives the retribution. There's a lot of sort of themes running there, which I'm hoping we can pull out this script. You know, and people can see the, you know, like I said earlier, can see the franchise. It's not just monster movies.
I do have to say, you're really hyping me up to come and see this.
You know, but
I'm really excited for this.
There's no promises it'll work to that level, but that's what my agenda is, to try and pull that out of the script and pull that out of the actors. You know, and pull that out and get the audience emotionally involved in it. And guys like me and you, we've seen alien movies probably 100 times, but they still draw us in, and we still watch them, and we still get excited by them, and we still get scared by them, and we see the themes that are running through there. And this time it's in your face. There's no screen protecting you. Because we are putting an interactive element in it. You will get up close and personal with the alien.
Oh, stop selling this to me! You've already sold it. That's the thing, though. I think that it's
We're very fortunate with the venue that FAF Shows in a Shoestring got us, where Webster's Theatre is an old church. So the minute you're walking into this place, you're going to walk into the theatre. There's all going to be the sort of, we're going to have monks walking around, and where you go for a pre-show drink or something like that. There's all various things going to be happening before you even go into the theatre. So because that's my interactive theatre, the element of it, it's very important to Scare Scotland. It's very important to me, and I want the audience to be hands-on and feel it.
It makes it more memorable.
I think so. And I just know from working in interactive theatre, and especially in the horror element of it, which I do, and again, when going back to the old my Alien War days, seeing people's faces when I'm the big marine, and they get attacked by when they would get attacked by the alien, and I'm shooting this thing and turn around and see their faces and see the fear in their faces, and going, oh my God, get the hell out of here. And my job's to save their life and get them out of there, and and you're not just sitting in your backside in a seat watching it happen, you're in it.
Yeah, because for that split second, you think you're there.
So we'll have things happening around, not just so it won't all be on stage. Majority of it will, to be honest, but it won't all be there. There'll be things going on round about. But we're pretty. It's not all going to be pole-faced and serious. We are going to chuck some gags in. Because some of the scenes are like, how can you do that without laughing?
Yeah, exactly. Plus,
there's one scene, again, spoilers here, where the monks basically meet up to go to the toilet.
So you've included that scene? Yes.
I remember when we did it in the sort of first one, the first sort of stage version of it we had to put it in. And one of the monks is sitting shuffling cards at the same time while he's emptying his bowels. You can't not put that in.
Oh God!
And everybody's sort of sitting in these booths, doing their business, and then it's like, hello, all right, and then the sort of you can work out your rest of what's going to happen. One of the monks is going to have a grisly demise. We just hope he wiped first.
Is it like that scene in what's that Stephen King movie Dreamcatcher where he's locked in the toilet? Oh, I wish I could remember it. Something he like shits out an alien and it fucking starts attacking him.
Aye. Aye. Well, again, the jokey side of it. So we've chucked a couple of gags in it just to sort of lighten the mood a little bit, because it is heavy going.
Yeah.
It's quite. As I say, it's quite emotional, the movie, and it's quite sort of it's pulling you into, making you think hard. So we chuck a couple of gags in, just to sort of lighten the mood a little bit. And again, it's down to sort of how the thing looks on stage as well, because in this one, in the movie, they turned it into a lead works. There's a lead works, but in the wooden planet, they make bottles, they blow glass. And so we're working out how do we get that to work on stage, and so there's that. So the start of it's quite sort of light-hearted, when they're sort of in their sort of glass blowing bit, and we've got a few sort of silly moments going there, but and then obviously the sheep moment, and then we're currently actually trying to work out how we ping a face hugger across the stage, landing somewhere.
Just do the way they did it in one of the 40th anniversary shorts, where you just chuck it across and you make some sort of sound effect like eep.
Well, there's also a dog in it.
Oh yeah.
So obviously we can't use a real dog. And this dog sort of keeps appearing all through the script. It doesn't do anything of any purpose apart from just annoy folk. So we've sort of got a toy one that we just throw onto the stage and a lead every now and again, and there's a sort of running joke we had in the last ones, get off, and kicks it back off the stage again. So there won't be any animal cruelty, I promise. There's one point where the dog does do something, but it's not like the movie where the alien comes out the dog and all that. But there's Chase Buster, Bambi Buster, whatever you want to call it. So we're working out what we're going to do with the dog right now. And do we just go and buy a bigger sort of toy dog, or do we use a small puppy again? But one of the monks kept standing on it by accident before he kept kicking it. So I want to put a squeaky toy in it, so he does that again. But we've done that. We threw a couple of gags in it just to lighten the mood, But that's not to say we're going to take away from the horror and everything that's exploring. We just want to give people a little breather.
You have to, though. You can't have a constant 90-minute stretch of heavy. You do need a breather.
Yeah, it's because it is in your face, and but we've got it's a small cast we've got, but we've got 8 in the cast, and there's a couple of sort of monks randomly sort of wandering around, because you could just fill it with monks and then you wouldn't see anything,
Pretty much whoever criticised Alien 3 felt like you can't remember the characters, they're all bald. It's like,
this time they're all wearing hoods.
So pretty much we'll just drag whoever we can in off the Glasgow streets and just stick them in the play.
Well, that's a couple of the crew guys, didn't he, when we were talking to them, going, so they're going, Stevie, what are we going to be doing, And I said, well, you're going to be taking some of the scenery on and off, and you're also going to be a monk. What? Hey, they're up for it. And the lighting guy we've got is, and I've just been throwing all these mad ideas at him, what I want. He just nods. Yep, I can do that. Yep, I can do that. Yep, I can do that. We never had a lot of lighting in the first the test show, as we call it. We only had a couple of sort of lights and whatever. But this time we've got a full lighting rig, so we can suggest the wooden planet with all the colours, and when there's a big fire in it, and we can suggest all of that. Obviously, we can't set the stage on fire.
Just burn the church down.
Burn the church down. Yeah, but I think it's challenging, And when we saw that primary school do it, the school in America do it, as we were talking about there, I was applauded and angry at the same time. What they've done is superb, and it's great to see kids, young folk, getting into the franchise, even through that. And what they pulled off was amazing, and if I can pull off half of that, and even better if we can get Sigourney.
Oh yeah, please. I mean, to be honest, it's just refreshing to actually finally hear from you, and the fact that you're so invested in this script that I can already tell, production aside, that it's going to be brilliant.
We'll make do with what we have, and and again, it's not. It's about with Aliens, it was all about weaponry and sonic ball breakers and all that stuff, and what they could, and all the guns and all the stuff they had. Don't have that this time. What we have is good actors, and we've got what I feel is a good script, and I think the story should be told. And I'm not, as much as I enjoy the movie Alien 3, the 2 versions that we know about, I don't want to take away from that either. But I just want people to see, film buffs, Alien fanatics, whoever wants to come and see it, and maybe just had interest to see, well, this is what you could have seen, this is what could have been out there. And I think it's a very, very good story worth exploring. And I can't say that enough. And it is a good story, and I think we've got the right people to bring it to life.
It's interesting that obviously you're doing this, and we just recently had the Gibson comic as well.
Yeah, that again, it seems to be, the stars seem to be aligning here, as far as the interest in Alien 3. When the Gibson script get turned into the comic. I personally haven't read it myself yet, or seen I've read the script, but I haven't seen the comic yet. I just don't have a chance to go and get it. But this resurgence of Alien 3 seems to be in the works for some reason. And I don't know if that's down to, Covenant being released and stuff like that, and that people maybe want to look to explore the Alien franchise again. And a lot of people didn't like Covenant. Personally, I thought it was alright, but it was what it was, But this interest is generated from it, and people want maybe explore the franchise a bit more. And so the Gibson script came out, and people went, alright, we can appreciate that a bit more. And I've met a few people since Covenant saying, I went and watched Alien 3 again recently. First time I thought it was shite. And he said, but I watched it again, I actually enjoyed it.
I think it was a movie that was out of its time. It should have been released now, I think.
Yes. I think if it came out now, there would be, I think there'd be more appreciation for it. I think it's building again, and and wherever the franchise goes in the next 5-10 years, and who knows what Disney are going to do yet. I perish the thought of that.
I was actually going to ask you, where do you see the franchise going, and if you had, say, a writer's chair or something, where would you like to take it before we close out?
Something? I would go back the way with it in the sense there's a story there to be told of LV-426. What happened in between the time between Alien and Aliens before the Marines arrived? When they get cut off and they're on their way and they're in hypersleep and all that sort of stuff. We know that is happening, but it'd be a good way to introduce new characters. It can be, the characters that we saw in that sort of director's cut Aliens, when you see the crew walking around and the kid on the bike and all that, and then again the director's cut with Newt's family going out to find the derelict and all that sort of thing. That story is there to be told, of the attack, the last stand. I think that should be the next Alien movie.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody on one of the fan pages talked about maybe putting it into sort of a 6-episode short TV run, which I would think would be a good idea for it, just so you can get a sense of character, like you said.
You get more time to explore the characters, and obviously with how many people was it lived in LV-426 again? I've forgotten.
Around 150. I can't remember the exact number.
Well, there's 150 characters. You could, although actually you can write for all that, but you could concentrate on 2 or 3 families, and how they got there, what they're, obviously LV-426 at the time it was a new start for families, and it was hopes and dreams. Hadley's hope, the hopes and dreams of these families that were just devastated because they didn't know what they were getting into. And then you've got Weyland-Yutani, who obviously sent them there to be impregnated. That was impregnated. That was the whole agenda in the first place. There's such a big story there to be told, and then the whole thing could easily finish, with you see the Sulaco arriving, and dump, and there you go. 6-7 part series, yep, in a movie. It'll be a long fucking movie.
I'd agree, because as much as I think that you get a lot of character development, it would be a dark fucking watch.
Oh yeah, well, I think that's what it needs. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, it needs to go back to that, because that's what I think Alien 3 really shows us. There's no, what's the word, mercy for any characters.
Exactly. See, Alien Resurrection. Okay, it's not a fan, right? I'll watch it, but I'll just sort of shrug my shoulders at it. It was too comedic. I thought that there was some great ideas in it, and I know there was a lot of ideas recycled that weren't used in other movies and stuff. And obviously that thing they stuck at the end, which will remain unmentioned. Shut up! I remember shouting "shut up" at the screen. You get souped out a window, you know. But it was too comedic, and you know, and it was just, you know, it just wasn't. It wasn't an Alien movie to me in a sense because there was too many jokes in it, and although there's loads of jokes in Aliens, they're sort of, it's gallows humour.
Yeah, and it fits in. It doesn't take you out of the experience.
Yeah, where the Resurrection was just like. See, a lot of folks say Alien 3 is absolutely terrible, and they're going to say, well, you haven't seen Resurrection yet, go and sit through that if you can, you know. And Alien 3 is an absolute masterpiece compared to that, you know.
Or AVP Requiem.
Well, did you mention a film that didn't exist there? I remember when those two were getting interviewed when they were going to direct that, and they were absolutely getting tore into the first AVP movie, saying how awful it was, and they were going to make this movie for the fans, by the fans, and it's going to be the most shit hot movie that you'll ever see with an alien in it. And I remember going to the cinema to see it, and I actually made a complaint to the cinema manager, and I went, look, mate, there's something wrong with the print you've got. And the manager's going, what's wrong with it? And I went, I couldn't see anything.
It's too dark.
And he went, no, he says, that's the way it is. And I'm like, you sure? You know, I'm going to turn the contrast button up in your projection room or something? And he went, no, mate. And do you know what he said to me? He went, they're hiding how bad it is.
So whenever anybody watches it nowadays, I always send them like a screenshot of like night vision goggles that you're going to need these.
Yeah. But I think that manager was right in Cineworld. He's like, yep, they're just hiding how bad that movie actually is. That almost killed the franchise, I think. But I think Ridley Scott should move on.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as much as I respect him as a director, and without him we wouldn't have our beloved franchise, you know, and I don't know, when he brought out Prometheus, I was so excited, you know, went to see it. As much as I enjoy Prometheus for what it was, there's so much in here not explored that's just left hanging, and then some of the characters are like, what are you even doing? You know, but it looks fantastic, and some of the stuff, you know, routes they could have went down, they didn't do, and I don't know how a director of that esteem could have let that out in the form it came in, the form it went out in.
Yeah, because I mean, story parts aside, there's absolutely glorious visuals in both the prequel movies. That planetary entry sequence in Prometheus and IMAX was something else entirely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like you say, it's a fantastic looking movie, you know. I went to see it the first time in this thing called 3DX.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Where you sat there in this chair, it moved around and stuff. And see when the Prometheus is turning round, and you see the big sort of things with the skull at the top, I can't remember what they're called. And it turning round, and the chair turns with you. That was like, I felt I was on the bridge of it, you know. I was like, oh, this is amazing, you know.
I'm pretty sure there was an updated version in America where they actually have like wind blowing towards you and water effects and whatnot.
Yeah, if there's not a cinema in Glasgow that's built something like that in it recently, sort of. I think it's quite and smells and stuff. I don't know, but I think I enjoyed the, you know, the one after that for what it was. But I think Ridley Scott he's burnt his bridges with it a bit and needs to let someone else. If that's Neil Blomkamp, but I think he's moved on to RoboCop now.
Yeah, there was a recent article coming out about him using the original RoboCop suit for the new movie. And I mean, creatives change over time. I mean, how long has it been? It's been 40 years since the first Alien came out. Ridley Scott's tastes and his motivations for wanting to create something have passed. It's the same way everyone's like, oh look, Jim Cameron might come back. I would not want James Cameron anywhere near this franchise right now because in my opinion he's just lost his edge. Don't get me wrong, he's a great filmmaker, but
you know, he lost it for me after True Lies. Once he done True Lies was his last good movie, I think. You know, even, you know, everybody goes on about Titanic and how fabulous it is. It's an awful movie. You know, the ship fucking sinks, right? Okay, go home, you know. And then the ones with the blue Smurfs, you know, and
Avatar. Yeah.
I don't know how he thinks that franchise has got legs, because I remember going to and I think Sigourney Weaver was in it as a favourite to him. You know, and I remember going to the cinema to see that and being bored. I'm like, this is just, it looks fantastic, but he's putting substance in there there's a substance in there that's not there that he thinks is there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to do another 3 of them, apparently. Well, I think I'll wait for the DVD for that one, you know.
Because he had a certain edge when he made things like the first 2 Terminators and Aliens.
Definitely, you know, and some of the stuff he wrote as well, didn't direct. You know, he was a script doctor for years, and you know there was some couple of scripts he done, and they seem to get into a mode where you just cruise, don't they?
Yeah.
And he's, I don't know, but it was ironic though, because he had a dig at Fincher.
That's because I think Fincher essentially wanted to spit in the face of the second Alien film by killing off Hicks and Newt.
You know, and I understand that Jim Cameron can be a bit difficult, you know, and you know there's all stories going around about how hard he can be to work with and all that sort of stuff. And you've got to be, when you're a director, in a sense where you know you're in control of everything, everything's on your shoulders. You know, and it's a lot of responsibility. And when you're making a film as sort of iconic as an Alien movie, you know, he did the right thing with Aliens by going, right, I can't remake the first one, so let's just go balls out here. You know, and Fincher was like, well, I can't remake that, you know. So, but let it go.
And it was Fincher's first movie, whereas Jim Cameron at least had The Terminator.
Aye, definitely, aye. But Cameron just wouldn't let it go. And, you know, he'd moved on, he'd done some other things, and his emotional thing to Hicks and his emotional attachment to Hicks and Newt were still there. And if he were really that interested in it, he should have went and done Alien 3 himself. You know, again, he's a fantastic director. Aliens love it to bits, you know, but he chose not to do Alien 3, you know. So I don't think he's got the right to whinge about it.
Yeah, I think it's now a case of where everybody's looking, it's like, what director would we like to helm the next movie? And I'm just sitting here thinking, it's like, see if they announce Christopher Nolan or Denis Villeneuve, I'd be set.
I really don't know who could do it. You know, I don't know if Blomkamp was even the right guy.
I think with Blomkamp, I saw a lot of visuals in his previous movies that looked like they fit into the Alien universe. But at the same time, it's the idea to bring Sigourney back, it's just never sat well with me.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same. You know, as I said earlier, there's no need. Let the character go.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver said it herself that the character's that's her finished. In the Alien 3, sorry, that's it, done. Still came out, okay, slightly different character in Resurrection, but why? There's no need for... Yeah, Ripley, you were fantastic. You're dead. Good night. You know?
Peace out.
All right, they've tried to do something with Covenant when they've got the new character, but, you know, again, it's a Ripley clone.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, there's a lot of nods to the Ripley character in there, and you know, and they didn't need to do that, and I think that's its biggest weakness is in Covenant. You know, they should have tried to do something else with a different... It doesn't have to be a woman, you know? Although, you know, James Cameron writes strong women, you know, but it didn't need to be a woman in that movie.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to sound like a complete sexist, but I wouldn't mind a guy as a lead character, just for a change. I mean, or say, for instance, do what they did with the original, where they give you a handful and they don't really give an individual a large amount of screen time, more of an equal one, and they'll let the surprise you with the lead character.
Aye. Well, look how in Alien, you know, Ripley wasn't even the lead.
No, it was originally billed as Tom Skerritt for the lead.
Yeah, he's billed first. I think. But you know, he was at the top of his game then. You know, but the character was that strong, it came through, and just down to sheer writing. You know what I mean? I don't think it was ever intentionally done that way. You know, I think Skerritt's character, was killed off for shock value. Because he was going down into the tunnels being Mr. Brave Guy, and there you go.
That's what happens to the brave guys.
I think they wrote that. I think it was an unintentional mistake in some, and when they wrote themselves into a corner with it. And, oh shit, we've killed off the lead character here. What are we going to do?
Improvise, quick.
Oh, you'll do. And it was an accidental success because I don't think it was just meant to be a 90 minutes of here. And when Ridley Scott and Giger all came in, all this other stuff just grew out of it. That we all see, and Giger being the designs, the creature and stuff, were like, oh no. Because I don't know if you've ever seen the original design of what the alien was supposed to be when it was.
Oh, it was horrific.
Yeah, it was still called. Was it Space Beast or something at that point?
Yeah.
And you're like, it looked like. If they put that in it, it would have looked like worse than the first ever Predator. Even.
But I think we're not going to see like any decent sized production, like movie or TV wise, at least until Disney can finally get nailed down what they actually want from it, what direction they want to go in. But it's just it's great to see the fact that we've got so much stuff coming out, including your project. But
I don't think Disney will kill it. I know there was stories about that Disney don't want it and they want to kill it off and all that. But Disney, if you look past Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all these sort of nice wee characters that they put out, Disney is a money-making machine. That's what it's about. And no matter how awful or great or bad or whatever an alien movie comes out, people will watch it. It will make money. There will be merchandise. There will be all the sort of Alien Day and all that stuff. And Disney aren't going to turn that away. But what they need to do properly is an alien ride, a proper one, back in the vein of Alien War, because I know they've done them before, and where people are in an alien pops out a window and you just laugh at it. You want to be put in the middle of the movie again.
Exactly. I really want to see that, but I think we've been recording for nearly an hour and a half, so I think we should just.
And I've been waffling like.
Oh, dude, it's been a fun time, man. So where can people go to see this, and what days is it showing specifically?
It's in Webster's Theatre on October the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yep, is that the right dates? Aye. Tickets are available on the website. You just go to Webster, just Google Webster's Theatre, and the ticket link will come up. There's also if we have the GoFundMe if you wish to contribute towards and become a producer of it, and there's various things. You'll get freebies and all that sort of stuff, and photo shoots and various things that we all give you. I can send you the links to them later if you want.
Yeah, we'll post them in the description when we put up the episode.
So we want people to get involved in it. That's what part of it. One, it helps pay for it, and you'll get a mention. And there's various sort of things we can give you for that. And that's if you look up Scare Scotland as well on Facebook, and we're also at www.scarescotland.co.uk, and there's also www.showsinashoestring.co.uk, who are the producers, and you can also find all that on Facebook as well. I can send you those links.
Yeah, because no doubt you'll be giving us updates on Building Better Worlds. I really implore everyone to
are with it. We're going to. I'm hoping that we're going to film some sort of small promo film for it, just a sort of maybe a wee thing lasting maybe about 40 seconds, just as a taster thing of what people are going to expect. And that's this. And what I've enjoyed about doing that mostly is I've got to write that myself rather than use someone else's script.
Yeah.
And so just to give people a taster of what the show's going to be like. But it's an exciting time.
It is, and I really implore folk to, even if you're down south in England, come up, because it's going to be a good time. And I think I'm coming on Friday. I'll need to check again.
But thank you very much for your support and and showing your interest in this. It's people like yourself who love the franchise, and even who because we can't make these things without the interest.
No.
And I hope when you come along you enjoy it, and if you feel you want to maybe talk to the other cast about their experiences of it, and So because some of the cast, like I said, they're new to the franchise and they're finding it quite exciting in what they're exploring as actors and stuff, you know.
And it's great to see something like this in Scotland because, like I said a lot earlier, it's always in England or America, and
You know,
it's great to see it locally.
Yeah, you know, you know, there's the Alien franchise has got a Scottish connection with Alien War. You know, it moved from Glasgow, then it went to London, and it toured around Scotland first, and you know, so and you know how our Scots are. You know, we're a passionate race. You know.
Oh yeah, we are.
And when we take something under our wing, we own it. You know, it's ours. You're not getting it. You're not getting it back. You know. So we're claiming the Alien franchise up here, and we're starting off with Alien 3. You know, I might even let you have a shot at my pulse rifle when you're there.
Oh, please bring it along.
Someone got me one as a gift a few years ago, and I was like, oh, I really cried when I got it. I was, but yeah, I don't know what else. You know, I'm just so excited this is happening. I didn't think it would. When we did it the first wee time, it was a bit of fun. Never thought it would go anywhere. And I said, right, got that out of my system. And then someone said, we're going to do this again. Alien 3 Resurrection. No, that doesn't sound right, does it? But it's going to be a good show, if I do say so myself. We have a shit hot cast. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of passion going into it. And, you know, and we're working hard to make it. Nobody's done anything like this, putting an unwritten script onto a stage, because we have no guidance. We don't even have a film to follow where we can steal things. You know, we have nothing. I've got to create these pictures. I've got to get this onto a stage and make it work. You know, I sort of understand where the directors are coming from a bit now.
Well, I think it's even harder to put a movie script to a stage play. Yeah.
Well, I just don't have 35 million to put it on.
Not yet. Be wishful.
Believe you me, if this turns out to be successful, I will run a mile and I will never do it again. Well, I did say that last time as well, you know, because I direct scare attractions all the time, you know, and you stand there and scare the shit out of him there, and you scare the shit out of him there, you know. I do all that, and I'm getting a bit old to be running around and all that now, you know. But I just feel we've got something special here, and thanks to Vincent Ward and for writing it, you know. I'm just sort of sad that it never made it on the screen, and I hope we do it justice for him. I hope we do it justice for the Alien fans, you know, and I hope my small contribution to the Alien franchise, and I hope people remember it, because people remember Alien War fondly.
A lot of old fans, yeah, really remember it fondly.
Yeah, you know, and I remember fondly for going to it and then being in it, you know, as a character in it. So this is my contribution now. This is Stevie Douglas from Scare Scotland. So I love the Alien franchise that much that I'm going to let you see bits of it that you didn't know existed.
Oh, honestly, Stevie, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been really good talking to you. And
thank you for having me.
For more on Perfect Organism, the Alien Saga podcast, please visit perfectorganism.com. Perfect Organism is available for listen or download through Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Spotify. If you'd like to support the show, please visit perfectorganism.com/support. Thank you.